get started in this case, a couple things I wanted to say. First thing I wanted to say is that it's a good thing that I usually stay pretty close up to the mic because I had a leftover thing of Big League Chew that I decided that I was going to use for the video today. And I'm all blue now, so that's another reason that I'm kind of hiding back here today. Also, I hope the quality of this video is better. I had an upgrade on my phone that I did not really need, but because of me using my phone to film, I had an issue with the storage on my last device, and of course the quality on this device is better than what I had previously. So I mainly got it because of me filming for YouTube. I am not really one that cares much about what kind of phone I have, but I'm really happy that I did decide to do it because I'm thinking the quality is going to be much better. So I hope you guys can tell a difference, and let's go ahead and jump into this case. So today we are going to be covering a case in the state of South Carolina. And this case is about two women. There is Dana Woods, who was 18 years old, and then her friend June Guerry, who was 22 years old at the time. And this case took place in August of 2012. Dana worked 2 jobs, and for an 18-year-old, she had a pretty good idea on life and what she wanted to do. She was very focused and pretty mature for her age. And then they got June, who is 22. She works 1 job, but she does that while being a single mother to her 1-year-old daughter. So they were pretty good young adults. And I believe they met when Dana was a sophomore in high school. So that's how they became friends. This case started on August the 27th of 2012, and it took place in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. That night around 11:50, Dana calls her mother to inform her that she was at a drive-thru with June and that they were getting something to eat, and then they would be heading back home, but they needed to stop and drop somebody off on their way home. So under the impression Jude was going to be coming back with Dana and spending the night with her, but they had to drop somebody off afterwards, so after they ate. So by 11 o'clock, when Dana does not arrive home with June, the parents kind of start to worry, and Dana's parents go out looking for her or the vehicle. And by 4:30, when they did not discover anything, they decided to contact the police, who met up with them at a gas station but informed them due to their age, unfortunately, is contact the phone company and see where it last pinged from, and they can kind of go from there, but it won't be an exact location. And it takes time. So while they were waiting on that, they wanted to get information on the girls. Dana's parents tell them about a on and off again boyfriend by the name of Chris Feathers. And they interview Chris because he is a spouse, so he is pretty high on the suspect list. And when they interview him, they also were able to verify his alibi. So he was eliminated from the investigation at that point. They were able to find out that Dana's phone last pinged on the other side of Berkeley County. However, that was at 3:30 a.m. and that phone could have pinged. It pinged off of a tower, which means within that tower radius was 20 miles of search that they had to do, because that was what radius they had to work with, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when you've got to search by foot for anything, the littlest thing. That's very time consuming, and it's going to involve a lot of people. So later that evening, a fisherman was at a national forest in the county, and he was just fishing, and he notices that there is a burnt car in the woods of the national forest. So he of course calls it in, and the car was very burnt. There was no way they could get a physical description on the vehicle, but they did get a hit on the second VIN number, and that confirmed that the car was Dana Wood's. Later, while they were doing a search of the vehicle, they noticed 9mm shell casings, and also there was drag marks from the vehicle, so they decided to follow them. And they lead straight to the body of Dana Woods. So to verify that, and he tells them the name of Caleb Matlock. Arthur tells them that he has not spoken to June in a few weeks and agrees to do a photo lineup for the driver of the vehicle of Dana's car. And they say that they know him, but that was not him that was driving Dana's car. So at that point, he is released. Law enforcement then gets a tip from a manager at a local gas station saying that an employee of hers has a boyfriend that keeps talking about the murders, and he is giving them details that nobody else should know about the crime. Law enforcement then decides to go to Anna's home, which is the co-worker, and they ask her about her boyfriend, and she says that she has one, and he is also the father of her two children. She was kind of acting a little fidgety at the door, but they did see kids, so they didn't think too much about it. And they had asked her if she would like to come down to the station and speak with them, and that they would bring her right back. So as she is getting ready to leave, a law enforcement officer tells her mother that she will be back. She is just going to go answer some questions for them, and she's not in any trouble. That they just wanted some information on her boyfriend, and her mother says, well, he just ran out the back door. So they go looking for him. She gives them a description of what he is wearing and says that he's got a backpack with him. And they find him changing his clothes behind a dumpster. And when they find him, they realize that this man is Caleb Matlock, which is the cousin of Arthur Chavis, the one that said he spoke to his cousin on the phone the whole weekend. So things are starting to add up slowly. So at this point, Caleb tells law enforcement that he spoke to June earlier that day, that they went missing. It was his son's birthday, so she was calling to see how his birthday was. And I guess, according to him, Caleb and Arthur had a plan that they wanted to go rob a building or something of that effect, but they needed a car to do so. So they were coming up with a plan to rob the girls for their vehicle. He tells them that the only thing he did was have the girls take them to this dirt road that he told them that he lost his wallet on, which was just a hoax to get them on that back road. And he claims whatever happened to them, he did not do. That the guy that was with him, he says that the only thing he participated in was the burning of the vehicle. So at that point, that's all the information they were going to get out of him because he asked for an attorney. But they then go to Arthur Chavis once again. When they speak to Arthur, he basically says that the whole ordeal was Caleb's fault. It was his idea, and he's the one that killed them. So basically, they're just telling on each other at this point. But in my eyes, they are both see you guys